Hi friends, today I will be talking about explainable artificial intelligence or explainable machine learning. So in this lecture, first I will give you a brief introduction to explainable AI, and then I will talk about a couple of the explainable AI visualization techniques such as saliency maps and GradCam, and I have also included a live demonstration in this lecture. So please watch this lecture till the end. So what is an explainable AI? So in general, we have two kinds of artificial intelligence models or machine learning models. So the first one is a black box model, where we have an input data and we have a set of decisions, which are the outcomes of my complex model. But we really don't know what exactly is happening inside such a complex model, since for us it is like a black box, so we don't know what really is happening inside. But what we know is a final decision that is made out of my input data. Whereas the other type of models, such as the white box model, so the model that I have implemented is like a transparent model, so that I will be able to know what exactly is happening inside my model, which means that I will be able to know why a particular decision has been made. So for example, my input image is a dog and my final decision is also a dog, then my transparent model or a white box model will tell me, should tell me why the decision has been made, for what reasons, what features has been considered. So such questions will be answered in black box model. So this black box model is also called an explainable machine learning. Let's first understand a simple example. For instance, consider a problem of predicting diabetes. So we know that a traditional machine learning algorithm takes a training data and it learns from the existing data and it predicts for the future data. So we know this. So when a person is predicted or diagnosed with diabetes, then he wants to know why my machine learning model has predicted it as S, or should I trust this model or not? Or how do I correct this model? Or why the model has predicted as diabetes? So such questions are not usually answered in a traditional machine learning models, whereas explainable AI tries to fill the gap. So to understand, to answer all these questions, we have many techniques and many methodologies. But in this lecture, I will be talking about two methodologies, which are they are visualization techniques. So as I have explained, I want to know the reason behind my final prediction. So the first methodology or the first technique is called saliency map. So the saliency map will try to connect between the input image and the output image. For example, let's consider this example. My input image is a dog and my final prediction is also dog. Then the reason behind the final prediction is shown in the right hand side diagram. The set of pixels which contributed to the final prediction are shown here. So what saliency map essentially does is it computes the effect of each input pixel on the final prediction, and then it displays the most influential pixels as in the salience map. So if I consider this example, the pixels which are around the face are the most influential pixels that affects the final prediction. The second method is GradCam. It's called gradient cam. So Unlike in saliency map, it does not calculate pixel by pixel, but what it does is it generates a heat map of the input pixels. So for example, let's consider the input image here is a cat, and it computes the gradients which contributed to the final prediction, and it then generates a heat map as shown in the right hand side diagram. Well, so now I will give you a live demo of saliency map and as well as GradCam. So let's switch to live demo. Okay, so I have a live demo here. So I will be demonstrating both saliency map as well as GradCam for a model. It's called VGG16. So VGG16 is a popular model in machine learning, and it has 1,000 classes. So which means it has the potential to predict 1,000 classes of different images, right? So let's go step by step. And by the way, I'm using a Google Colab, and I'm using TensorFlow as my backend. So I will run step by step, and then I will explain what I am doing here. So let's begin with first installing Keras. Since I'm using Keras, so I have to install the Keras visualizer. So let's install Keras. If you are installing for a first time, then the installation step takes some time. But if you are installing for the second time, then it may take a less amount of time. Then I have to install TensorFlow as well. Since I have already installed on my machine in my runtime, so it took just a very less time. Whereas if you are installing for the first time, then it may take more time. Then after installing Keras visualizer and TensorFlow, I have to install TF Keras visualizer, which is my primary module for visualization purpose. So you have to install these three things. And then, since my objective is to take some input images and then display or produce saliency maps and GradCam, so I can use Google Drive, where I can directly upload my images, or the another method is, let's say you have your input images on your machine, then you can upload those images to Google Colab directly. For example, on the left hand side, we have a button here which shows the files. So then you can click on this. I don't have any data here. I don't have any files here. Then you can upload some of the files, and then you can go to, for example, I want to see 4 images, which are cat, dog, hen, and tiger. So I have these 4 images. So I have uploaded 4 images to my runtime. And then, so before I start anything, so I have to load all the libraries. So TensorFlow and the VGG16, and to process the input. So this is the one, and for NumPy and Matplotlib for plotting the images, and then pre-processing and TensorFlow. So make sure you install or you load all these libraries. Okay, and we also need a import JSON because I'll explain so why we need to import this as well. Okay, so I have imported all the required libraries here, and then I have defined some of the utility functions. So this first utility function is to show the images. Okay, so I have 1 row and 4 columns, so which means I want to display 4 images here. So let's run the utility function, and then first let's after running the utility functions, let's load the images, right? So before even loading the images, so because I am not creating VGG16 model from the scratch. Okay, so I am using a pre-trained model. So that's why I create the model first. I am loading the model, and then I'll show you that will show the summary of what the model contains. So in case if you want to build the model from the scratch, yes, you can do that as well. So first I'm loading the model, and then if you are loading the images from the what we call Google Drive, then make sure first you have to mount your Google Drive using this command. Then when you click on this command, then it will ask you for an authentication. So make sure you open the right URL that displays here, and then get the authentication code and enter here. Okay, then it will load the Google Drive. So if you are loading from the Google Drive, then you have to give this path. Since I am loading from the local runtime, I don't have to mention any path, so I can load directly, and then you can print those images here itself. Okay, or else I'm converting all my 4 images into an array of images, and then I'm displaying. So let's run this block and see what happens. So first I'm loading the model, and then I'm printing the summary. So it's downloading the model. Yeah, see, so this is the pre-trained model. So I have not constructed this model, right? And these are the images that I have taken as an input. Okay, let's move to the next block. So here, before I give this input to VGG16 model, I need to convert into an input that is acceptable for VGG16. So that is what I'm doing here. So first convert into a NumPy array, and then reshape, because VGG16 takes only 224 by 224 images. So if your image, irrespective of your image dimensions, so you make sure to convert it into 224 by 224, and then call this function so that it will prepare the input for VGG16. So done, I'm done. And then since my model is pre-trained, so I can directly make predictions on my model. My images are also ready. So let's make some predictions. So for 4 images, I made 4 predictions. So I have a inbuilt function that I can use it to decode my predictions. So yes, I have decoded. Now let's display what the predictions are. So see, I have 4 images. The first image is predicted as tabby with the 55%, and the second one is German Shepherd with 98, hen 98, tiger 83, right? So this is what is my predictions. Next, to compare them with what we have in the VGG network, as I said, we have 1,000 classes in the VGG network. So we need to get what all those 1,000 classes. So I have to download a file which has all these 1,000 classes. So I have downloaded, and then I'm preparing for 1,000 classes. That means I'm constructing a model which contains 1,000 classes that I will be using it for later. So I here in this case, I am extracting top 5 classes for each of my input. Okay, so this displays the top 5 classes for each of the input. Let's run this code and see what it displays. So the first image is shown here. For example, for the first image, the first class is tabby with 55. The second class is cat, third is tiger, bucket, and laptop, right? For the second image, which is the dog in my case, so it is predicted as German Shepherd, etc. For the third image and for the final image, right? Now, if I have to visualize, for example, let's take a dog image, which is German Shepherd. So why my dog image is predicted as a German Shepherd? What are the most influential pixels? Maybe that I will find out using saliency map, or what area of the image is most influential? That I will be able to find out using GradCam. So I will be doing both of them. Before that, since my final layer is a softmax layer, which does the actual predictions, since I am not doing a prediction here, so what I'm basically doing is I want to get the information of what contributed to the final prediction. So I have to replace the final softmax layer with a linear model. That's what I'm doing here. And then, so once it is done, so let's get the input category, because this is what I'm going to compare with. So I will get what are the categorical numbers for all these images. So for example, cat, if you go to this particular file, JSON file that I have downloaded, and if you go to a category number 285, 281, then that will be a cat or set of different cats. So category 235 is a set of family of dogs, German Shepherd, etc. So these are the categories. And this particular code is for GradCam. So I have to import the GradCam and then get the what are the actual classes and the process the input. And there are two inbuilt functions which are used for GradCam, which is first one is the creating GradCam object. Second one is to generate the heat map. And this particular code will display my heat map. So let's see what happens. So I forgot to run this particular code. So yeah, we have to run this code. Okay. So let's run this code. So I want, because I know I have my 4 input images. So I am expecting to get 4 heat maps. So see, this is what is the output. For cat, the facial part, as well as the right or the front the leg which is positioned in the front side are the most influential features. For the dog, it is face. For the hen, it is also face. For the tiger, it is face plus the front side legs, which are contributing to the final prediction. Similarly, let's run the saliency map. So we have to use the inbuilt saliency object, create the object, and then get the pixels which are most influential and finally display it. So here I want to get most impacting pixels that contributed to the final prediction. See, I have 2 saliency maps here. So which is first one is a vanilla saliency map, whereas the second one is a smoothed version of saliency map. So in the second version, so I would like to see more information. So that's why I call the second saliency map with the smooth samples is equal to 20. Yeah, since it has to compute all the by using the back propagation methods, so that's why it takes some time. So let's wait. And probably the vanilla version of saliency map has a lot of errors. That's why we were not able to see the exact pixels that are helping in the final prediction. So let's wait and see, and we'll get the output here. So apart from saliency map and GradCam, there are other techniques that are available, and you can use these techniques for other networks as well. So here I have applied these 2 methods for VGG16. So similarly, you can use the same method for MNIST or CIFAR10 or 100 or any data set. Okay, but only things that will change is the input, because here VGG16 is expecting 224 by 224 input images. So maybe MNIST would be different, and it will be different for even CIFAR10. So make sure you are giving the proper input to the networks, then The rest of the things will remain same. Yes, we got the output here. So for example, if you consider the last image, we can clearly see a tiger here. So similar to GradCam. So the facial pixels around the facial parts plays a major role in the final prediction. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. So I will provide my source code in the description link. So please download and you can use it for any other network. Thank you. Thank you for watching this lecture.